Welcome to the Greg Bennett Show. I'm your host, Greg Bennett, and this was a wonderful conversation with the new man on the scene, the man who just crushed the 70.3 World Championships at 22 years of age, Rico Bogen. This was an absolutely outstanding conversation. We cover so much. There wasn't much on Rico in terms of homework. His rise to the top of the world has been so fast that this was all new to me. There was so much in this one. He shares his training, his team, the way he approached the 70.3 World Championships, his training leading up to it, and his mindset during the race. So much good stuff in this one. And look, I look at Rico as a young man at 22. The world is really in front of him, and I'm wishing him all the very best. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. And remember, success comes to those who endure just one moment longer. Okay, before we get into it, listen up. If you're trading your family time and a cushy sofa for hours of sweat, pain, and maybe some glory, that's a choice. So make it count. Red Bull claims that they give you wings. Well, big deal. Wings don't mean jack unless you're actually flying. With fast food, it's not just about liftoff. It's about cruising at 30,000 feet without even a hint of a crash landing. First, there's the Galacto Gummies, a kick of energy that stays with you. No spikes, no crashes, just smooth, consistent power. Next, we've got the Hydrator. This isn't your corner store sports drink. It's electrolytes and micronutrients dialed in for optimal performance. And let's not forget the Galacto Gels, your mid-flight energy boost, all designed to keep you at your peak performance for the long haul. So, are you going to just flap those wings, or are you ready to actually fly? Make the choice, make it count, and make it with fast food. Visit fastfood.com and let's own the sky together. All right, today's guest is a 22-year-old phenom who's shaking up the world of triathlon. Just 2 weeks ago, he became the youngest man to ever win the Ironman 70.3 World Championships. He came out of what seemed like nowhere and took the triathlon world by storm. He's from Germany, a country with a rich history of triathlon world-class athletes, including the Raelert brothers, Andreas and Michael, Sebastian Keinle, and of course, Jan Frodeno. And today, we're going to learn what makes this young man tick. And I'm thrilled to have him here to dive into his incredible journey. So, welcome. Thanks for joining me on the Greg Bennett Show, Rico Bogen. How are you, mate?
Hi, Greg. Thanks for the nice introduction. And it's a big honor for me to be in this big show. Yeah.
Well, mate, it's great to have you here. That was our second run through. We had a little recording issue early on, but I think we just nailed that one. Mate, it's so great to have you here. But first off, congratulations on the incredible performance, winning the World Championships. How's life been, mate? How's it been since winning that big day?
Yeah, a little bit busier, I would say. More media stuff, very much many messages on Instagram, and many podcasts. My fourth or fifth. So it's nice, mate. But now it's not the focus so much on training, a little bit more on media.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you accommodating us all. We're all enthusiastic to just hear more about you, learn more about you. I'm fascinated to see, just doing the little bit of homework I did for this show. Do you realize your PTO ranking is now up to 29 from 301 in 2022? How's that feel? That's unreal.
Yeah, it was the goal to be in the top 30 in the end of this year. So now I reached this goal, and this is very nice because hopefully next year I could also start in the PTO races because I think this is all very big races with good competitors. So I'm really looking forward. And at the beginning I had just one race ranked, so it was always, if I had one more race, then I'm going up for 50 places or so it was very good.
Wow. Well, this was an extraordinary way to do it. Like you said, now this can actually get you some, into the PTO series for 2024. But this year, it almost looks to me like it was a good idea not to be sort of chasing a lot of the PTO events in August in the lead up to the World Championships. If that comes again, what's going to be your choice next year?
Yeah, of course, a little bit difficult. I asked for the white card for the PDO US Open, but there I didn't get one.
Mm.
Yeah, but for Singapore, they said, yeah, you do you want to start Singapore?
Ah,
And there we decided to not start because yeah, this year was the aim to start in at the World Champs from Ironman. So
mm,
yeah, it's difficult. I hope that they are not so close together. This both races, so you have to decide. This is
mm.
difficult, but next year the 70.3 World Champs are just in December, so it's late. So hopefully it don't to close together. Yeah.
But listen, you're a world champion. You're now a world champion for the rest of your life. Potentially, you'll have multiple world titles and everything else. But from now until the end of days, mate, you'll be able to call yourself a world champion.
Yes, it's
Is that,
crazy.
is that pretty awesome? Is it a pretty cool feeling? I mean, you're 22. Some athletes, take 20 years. Even Jan Frodeno, the great Jan Frodeno, I know you've listened to a few of these episodes, but it took him almost 100 races before he won his first major race, which happened to be the Olympic Games. But you've come out at 22 and you're world champion. Has it really sunk in yet what you achieved?
Yeah, not really. Yeah, this is just unbelievable, and I didn't expect that so early. I was training for that and hoping for in maybe 2 or 3 years, but now with just 22 years, it's very early, and
Mm.
yeah, I didn't expect that, and yeah, yeah. Also in the youth, I wasn't always the best, and so yeah, this is so early now. It's really cool.
That is really cool, mate. Well, what I want to do today is first up, recap the Ironman 70.3 World Championships and where your head was at leading into it and during. And then I just want to spend the rest of the show getting to know you and a bit of your journey, your team, and how you operate. And we'll finish off with some maybe opinions and rapid fire questions. So let's get into it. I want you to walk us through the 70.3 World Championships and what was going through your mind leading up to the race, during, and after. Let's start. The triathlon world was surprised, but were you? Was your mind sort of ready to be a world championship? Were you already sort of believing that it could happen?
The word title not. I was hoping for a top five, and yeah, I know that I'm fit and that I could be in the lead in the swim and in the bike,
Mm.
but I didn't know how big the group is and how my running shape is. So that I could win this, I don't expect this, and yeah, because the start list was also very good, and then at first day there was the press conference and or the briefing, and there was not all signatures on the board. So I thought, yeah, okay, there are not every big name is here, so maybe there's something in. But with the word title, I didn't expect that.
Mm. Mm. You, from what I understand, the weeks leading up to it, you were training in St. Moritz, doing some altitude training. Was that your first time doing that kind of work? And did you feel the effects? And did you feel like that really worked well for you?
Yeah, it was 3 weeks and the altitude,
Mm.
and yeah, it was the first time, so it was a little bit risky,
Mm.
and but I think it works, and we managed it well, and yeah, at the end of the camp, I was a little bit tired, and the training didn't was so good. I was also shit.
Mhm.
Hopefully, the freshness comes back, and yeah, then 1 week earlier, I did a small triathlon just in my hometown. Yeah, and there was the feeling was okay, was better than in the trains camp. So I thought, yeah, okay, now I have 1 week left, so I think it could be good. And on Thursday, in Lahti. There we did the last little kind of small quick session.
Hmm.
It's like a activation, and there I was really fit, and my heart rate was really low, and the numbers was good. So therefore, yeah, okay, yes, something possible, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, the coming out of altitude, to your point, you said you can either nail it or it can actually ruin you. And I'm curious, how far down, when did you come down from altitude before the race? How many days?
10 days to 10
Yeah,
days in front,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, so you crushed that. And so I assume you're probably going to end up doing that again in the future.
Yeah, it would be, yeah.
But it is the doubt can creep in, because there is, when you think of altitude, the best way to think of it, it's another stress on the body, right? It's another layer of stress that you otherwise didn't have. And so with that stress, you get really tired because your
Yeah,
body's going to rebuild itself and rebuild. And so then the doubt, this is where you have to have a strong mindset to go, no, 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 this is part of it. This is part of it. This is part of it. And then slowly, to your point, the Thursday before the race, you go, I think I'm good to go. In those final few days, from the Thursday leading into the race, what was sort of the rest of that prep? You did that little workout. Did you do much before the race?
no, not really. So just the workout on Thursday, and then or the other day, Friday and Saturday, is just 1 hour training, I would say.
Yeah.
So not much. And I was hoping that on Thursday I was feeling so good that I was hoping it's also on Sunday so good. It's not now. It comes down. Yeah, this was not good.
Oh, the self-talk, right? I hope I haven't just used up my best day.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
so
Yeah.
on race morning, were you, did you wake up out, I'm always intrigued because some days you wake up and you go, oh, I feel rubbish, and you have an amazing day. Other days you wake up going, I'm ready to go, and you can't get out of your own way. What was that feeling waking up on race morning?
Yeah, it was more. I'm ready to go. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
What time does the race start?
7:30. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's reasonable time to get up. And was there any self talk that was full of doubt in the morning that you had to overcome, or did you feel no, everything's in line?
No, self-doubt not. It was, yeah, I'm ready to go, and I had respect for the other athletes, and yeah, I was excited, really excited
Mm,
for this big
mm.
race, and but I want to show that I'm a good athlete, and yeah, just go out. I had nothing to lose, so yeah.
I love that. And you are, from what I see, and watching that race, you got to be happy with just how much of a complete athlete you are. At the end of the day, your performances across the board had you well and truly up front, from the beginning. Your bike was there, swim was there, bike was there, and then you finished off with a 1:11 run. It wasn't an easy race in terms of being dead flat and super fast, but you put together a race of a 3:32. I mean, is that mind-boggling to you, the performance that you gave, just how incredibly strong it was across the board?
Yeah, this was so fast. I didn't expect it because yeah, the running course was not easy. It was with 200 meters elevation. It
Mhm.
was 3 kilometer uphill and then 1 kilometer down again. So also, I think too steep for good running downhill. Would be better
Mm.
just a little bit slighter downhill, and so it was not the fastest course, and then such a fast time. With also, I think the fastest 70.3 World Champs time. Yeah,
Mhm.
this was
Yeah.
also crazy. And yeah, I would say my biggest advantage is that I'm in the free sports very good at the top. I'm not. I have no big weakness. It was since this season it was more the one, but I fixed that in this season. So now I'm complete athlete. Yeah.
I fixed that in the period of what seems like a very short time span. I'm sure you're going to tell me otherwise later in the show, but
Yeah.
being able to really improve that run. What do you put that down to? What kind of work have you been doing that you go, okay, that's how you really get the run going?
We did in LG camp running uphill, the Algo
Yes.
Lapas. I don't know
Yes.
if you know
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
and so I would say this was good strength training. Also the Lati course was mostly uphill. So yeah, it was good preparation for that.
I think you just nailed it. Uphill running or even stairs, if you got stairs. For people listening, I can tell you, Jan Frodeno and I used to laugh about it because we'd always say, if you want to get fit quick, run uphill. And we, in Noosa, Australia, we used to do a thing where you'd do 5 by 2 kilometer all out, and then jog back down. And I think Jan joined us a few times on that one. But if you have hills around you and you can be doing 1 mile, 2K, or even to your point, long uphill efforts, it's amazing how that translates well to running fast on the flat. And even the bike. Do you find the bike, were you doing a lot of uphill work, or are you mainly on the trainer? What kind of bike work were you doing to really get that power?
Yeah, in so the Algi camp we did also very much mountains. So that is good. In my hometown, there's everything flat, so it is a little bit missing here. We have just the wind.
Yeah.
But yeah, for this, I think the training camps are very good. That you can also train uphill because that's easier to push many watts uphill. So if you go 1 hour just uphill, you have to push 250, 280 watts to just don't stop. And in the flat you can easily push just 200 watts. So yeah, it's effective, better training. Yeah.
It's almost like you can take the mental side of it out. I always loved training. We lived in Boulder, Colorado for years, and I love that I could just, go along, pick one of the canyons I want to go up, and for the next hour, I could just hold 300 watts because I just had to get up the hill. I wasn't having to mentally focus on pushing. It was just get up the hill. And I love that kind of work. Back to the race. I'm curious, you got off the bike, great position. I think it was 6 of you off the bike together. At what point did you feel, you start your run? I'd love to you step through that mindset and the physical feeling that you had starting that run and then sort of building throughout that run. I'm curious as to what you were saying to yourself.
The bike I found it really hard. It was in the beginning we was third with Justus and Matisse, and then Fred Funk joins us, and then it was hard. he attacked for 3 times, or every time if he went to the front, he attacked. So that was really hard, and there was my legs not so good. I thought, this could be a really hard run. But then I started to run and my legs was very good. I was surprised. And at the end, and on the last 5 kilometers, Fred and Matthias had a little gap of 20 seconds. So they wasn't in front of me, but I could close that gap in 3 kilometers, and I was feeling so good.
Wow.
And behind them, I stayed so 5 seconds behind them, and then I thought, okay, it's a little bit too slow. You can go faster, so why not? Why you don't try it? So I passed them, and then I had a gap, and then it was just fighting and saying, you are the front at the World Champs, and you can go for the title. This was just amazing.
So take us back to that pass. Was that on an uphill or a downhill? And was it a hold my rhythm, or did you really accelerate for a period of time? And how long did you accelerate if you did?
Yeah, it was at the end of the uphill. So yeah, it was after 3 kilometers. There was the end of the uphill, and after that it was rolling, so a little bit downhill, then uphill again. So I thought, yeah, I'm good in downhill, so now I could accelerate. Uh, yeah, so I accelerated, but not too much. So yeah, maybe 5 seconds faster than the normal pace.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not 30 seconds faster,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but I could hold this pace. Yeah, for I would say uh, yeah 1 kilometer, but after this then was the long kilometer downhill. So there you are had a pace of 3 minutes. So it was really fast, and yeah, I could bridge up the gap really fast to 20-30 seconds. So yeah, this was good, I think.
Wow. Were you getting splits from anybody on the side? Like, because sometimes when you're out front, it's hard to get a gauge. You've made the effort. It's always a little scarier. Now, it's almost like you said, it was comfortable sitting sort of 5 meters behind. And now you're in the lead at 4 kilometers into the race. You still got 17 kilometers to go.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get a gauge on what's going on behind you, whereas everybody behind gets everybody going, oh, you're 7 seconds, 8. Like they're all getting the numbers. Was there anybody giving you any feedback on the sideline? Was it, or
Yeah.
was it just kind of, okay, don't worry about what's going on and just keep running hard? What was going on?
Yeah, this was really good because the Ironman tracker is the time, I think, after each kilometer or each
Mm.
1.5 kilometer. So the spectators got often the times. So my family was with me, then some of Q, my bike sponsor, and so I have many fans just for
Yeah.
me, and so yeah, I got very often the times. And this was also very good because at the beginning it was 20-30 seconds, and 2 kilometers more it was 40 seconds, and after one lap it was over 1 minute. So I know that I was the fastest runner,
Mm.
and yeah, always gaining time.
And at which point, were there any doubts that crept through at any point in the race? Do you feel strong throughout the 21K, or did you have any moments where it was like, whoa, hang on, just keep it together?
Yeah, yeah. After I would say 13 to 15 kilometers, it was tough. Yeah, my muscles were a little bit sore, and yeah, this was yeah. I have over 1 minute gap, but you have to keep pushing because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so many downhills. I thought if I get it cramp now, then it's over. So I have to keep pushing, and yeah, it wasn't not easy that my legs didn't feel anything. So I at the end I feel the tiredness. Yeah.
Oh, mate. And okay, so tell me, when did you let yourself sort of say, I think I've got this? Did you wait until you crossed the line, or was there kind of a kilometer to go, you started to feel like, wow, I really got this?
No, the last 2 kilometers, I thought, yeah, now I have it, yeah, and there was again very many spectators, so I could enjoy the last 2 kilometers and could go a little bit slower, not faster,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
slower,
yeah.
and yeah, and enjoyed the crowd. This was really amazing, and yeah, on the finish line, this was just unbelievable. This feeling
Mm.
is you can't describe it. You just want to have it again. Yeah.
Mate, I love it. Were you thinking about then, that final little bit, final 5 minutes, were you thinking about how am I going to celebrate at the finishing line?
Uh, Not really. Uh, the little pose I did with my finger in the mouth was for my sister because she was pregnant, and yeah, did
Oh,
I thought or planned in front of the race that I can do this.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect that I will do it, because it's not so cool if you do it at place 10th or something like that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
if I'm winner and could do it, this was very good. But then this is just emotion. I cried on the finish line already.
Mm.
If I was running, and it was unbelievable.
That's so great, mate. It's a feeling that I think you'll take with you forever. I love it. You mentioned your sister. She also is racing professionally, correct? As a triathlete?
More on the short distance,
Yeah.
but this year, she was pregnant, so this
Yeah,
year
yeah.
not so much,
Taking a year off. Well, mate, again, massive congrats. I truly believe this is the start of an incredible journey of victories for you. I think the events in the future will be, you'll have different attention going into them and all sorts of things, but it's still just triathlon, still just swim, bike, run.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, I truly impressed. And I've been around the sport for a long. I'm a dinosaur, mate. I've been around a long time, and that was a hell of a performance. So congratulations again. What I want to do now is just look at a little bit of your journey. Now, being 22, we don't have to wind the clock very far back. But tell me, when did you sort of first find the passion for triathlon? When did that all start?
I would say very early. My parents do also a little bit sport, so more as a hobby, but they did local run races and a little bit of triathlon. They are not so good swimmers, so triathlon is difficult, but much running races. And so as a little kid, I was at the races and did kids races. So I started very early, but at the beginning I was more a swimmer.
Mm-hmm.
So I with in the five class, I went to the sport school, and I had to decide if I go to swimming or just track and field. And I decided to go for swimming, and so I did the first 5 years of the sports school just swimming, and no, not running, because if you go in the morning in the swimming pool and in the evening, you don't have time for other sports. And so this was the beginning of my sport career, and then with 60 years I changed to triathlon, and then did a short distance kind of stuff in Germany. There's a cup, so the small races, and also then the European Cup, and
Yeah. So you were doing the Bundesliga type races. Were you racing for a team there? Do you still race? You race for them? Yeah.
Yeah, there I race now for Team Berlin. So I think it's a good good correlation between Bundesliga and middle distance races. It's good to hold the speed of the short distance. Yeah.
I think there's a reason why we see so many great German and French athletes in the world of triathlon, is because you race, and you race often, and you race short and fast, and it's head to head. And, as an Australian, we in the 90s, is before you were born, but we had a professional short series of racing, and it was live television. It was a big deal. And I think the reason we had a successful group of Aussies was because we had racing.
Yeah.
And I see you as somebody that loves to race. You can train all you want, but you got to love to race. But was there a moment that you realized, starting, triathlon at 16, was there a moment you realized, hey, I'm actually okay at this, and maybe this is something I should really do as a career and go all in?
So in my juniors, I wasn't that good. I wasn't on the podium. So there was sometimes self-doubt if it's the right thing or not. So yeah, my best place in the German championships in junior was 5th. So this was okay, but I wasn't never be on the podium. So there was okay, I have to train and maybe I will get there later. And but we thought that I'm better on the middle than on the longer distance stuff because I'm good in holding high speed and but not in the high end speed. So I could go very long 310 pace, but a 230 or 240 pace is very tough for me.
Yeah.
So before that the middle distance is it suits me better and yeah. The first time I really recognized that that I'm good in this sport was in Kraichgau, the win at the 70.3 Ironman win in front of Patrick Lange. So there I know, okay, he has a very good potential,
Yeah, so we're talking only a few months ago. It's like we were talking. When was Kraichgau? That was in May, end of May, wasn't it? This year.
May this year,
Yeah, and so that was kind of your breakout performance in front of another German legend who I didn't mention in the intros, and I should have because I love the guy, Patrick Lange. So you actually managed to come over the top of him. He didn't quite run you down, and that was a big breakthrough moment for you. And then we're talking 3 to 4 months later. Okay, boom, now you're a world champion. I just think that's fantastic. I do want to tell all the American listeners some of the time splits that Rico is talking about. So when he's saying he's running 310 pace, that's about 5-minute miles. And the 230, 245 type pace, we're talking around the 430 sort of mile pace in the short course racing. But just to give some reference for everybody. But mate, you're fully committed now. Have the sponsors been good to you since winning world championships? I believe you've got a manager. Has that been interesting for you?
Yeah, this was a busy time too, and now many managers or sponsors came, and we have to. I have the manager Alex Borg now from
I know
Q.
Alex. Yeah. Say hi to him for me. Yeah.
You know him? Yeah. He was a manager from Team TBB, so a big triathlon team, and so he's part of the business and knows everyone. Yeah, also in Lahti he was with me and he talked to everybody and say hi and have a chat, and so this was really good, and so I have a manager, and now we have to find the right sponsors that we think that suits me and that we can do a long-term deal, not just short, so that we can grow together. Yeah.
I love that, mate. Well, you're in good hands. I know Alex. I think we've met several times. And look, what I love about that, I'm pretty sure you guys were even working together before you won the world championships, from what I understand. Am I right?
Yeah. This was a good one. I'm in this team since 2021 at the end. And they know me for a long time. I know them, and they supported me for such a long time. And they'd already at the beginning, I'm a good athlete, and they believed in me. And the whole thing is built on me. So they said, you are our symbol, and we want to have you. And the support of them is really good. And also now in Lahti, I was with the whole group. There was the photographer of them, the mechanics, and the designer of the bike. So there was everybody in one house. We stay together. There's a big family, and so
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
you know, they said to me, if you have not a good race, we are also with you, and if you have a good race, it's good and it's fine, and it's, then but if not, then it's also good. So yeah.
Well, mate, I know everybody now is looking up Coup bicycles after your unbelievable race. I know I was one. Went straight to go, oh, Coup
Yeah.
bicycles. You know, they're based out of the Netherlands. You know, it's an incredible website, actually. I forgot the name, but one of the guys, you know, comes from the sort of Formula One.
Yeah,
Um,
Richard McInnish.
Richard,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Mm.
then you've got Alex Bock, and there's a good team there, and they're doing some incredible work. So shout out to them. But mate, tell me a little bit more about some of the team that you work with. You know, your family, your coaches, any bodywork people or psychologists or anybody else. Who else you got on your team?
Yeah, my coach is Joseph Spindler, and he was the co-coach of Brett Sutton in the earlier years. But now he have his own training methods and is separated from Brett. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we worked together since last year at the end, and yeah, I'm really satisfied with him. And it's online, so we don't see each other each day, but yeah, we very often talk, and I can say if I want something different in the training, so we can discuss something. I really liked it. Not just train the trainings plan. So yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
if I have to say something, it's better for me, and yeah, that's really good with them with him. And yeah, at home here I'm in Leipzig, in Saxony, east part of Germany. Yeah, there I have running partners, which
Mm.
I can train with them, and a swimming group. So it's not a big triathlon group here, but I have the partners in the different sports. So uh, it's good that
Mhm.
I'm good enough to train with them in the sport. Yeah,
That's
and
awesome. Yeah, you don't want to do all the training on your own. Have you got
yeah.
anyone you're biking with, or do you do a lot of indoor bike?
Yeah, in the winter it's indoor, but now it's also outside.
Mm.
Bike it's a little bit difficult. There I have not so many partners, but also yeah, if I want someone, I can write. Yeah, if you want to join me, and so I find every time someone, and but sometimes I also like it to train alone and just
Yeah.
push through the program.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Good
and
man.
yeah, here in Leipzig, I have also a physiotherapist, and so yeah, also the team behind me is really good here. Yeah.
That's awesome, mate. I can imagine the kind of work you're doing. You know, myself, I had 4 years with Brett Sutton in the late '90s, and I know the kind of work where it's kind of built a lot of it on the Arthur Lydiard model. You'll probably have to look him up, but Arthur Lydiard was a coach from New Zealand that a lot of the work that you're probably doing is founded upon, and it's pretty incredible work. And when you mentioned that, I was like, oh, okay. Now I personally, I'm getting a better idea of, okay, this year that you're having and where you're going. Now I actually know the kind of work you're doing. But take me through a typical week. You know, you don't have to go into too raw detail, but what's a typical week of training look like for you?
Yeah, typical is that Monday is an easy day, so it's just swimming and athletic, and yeah, then Tuesday is mostly a hard swim in the morning, then easy bike ride, and then in the evening indoor walls and running.
Did
So
you say indoor what?
intervals, yeah.
Intervals. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
intervals, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, mostly this is the track day. So
Yeah.
I go
Yeah.
on the track at the end of the day with the running group. So this is really nice.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
also, uh, yeah, in winter when it is dark outside and then with the light and just
Mm.
pushing through the program, this is epic feeling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Wednesday is mostly in the morning, easy run, and then a bike ride with intervals, and yeah, so a tough bike. And yeah, Tuesday is swimming, and yeah, sometimes there's a longer bike ride, but yeah, that we change for week to week. If I have
Mm-hmm.
time, there's a longer bike ride. But if not, then it's also just easy bike ride and a little run. And yeah, Friday it's again easy, just swim and athletics, and then the weekend is again a little bit tougher with Saturday in the morning swim. Then we go for the run. There sometimes it's uphill run or hill intervals. But yeah, with hill intervals, it's you can't do it every week because on the weekend there's a race, so you
Of
can't do it,
course.
and yeah, you have to decide it. But if it's possible, we try it, and
Yeah.
yeah, then the Sunday is the typical long day, a long run and a long bike. Yeah,
Oh,
um,
wow.
yeah,
Hey, you mentioned on your recovery days, Monday and Fridays, you do an easy swim and athletics. What does that athletics mean?
yeah.
Is that
On
gym
Monday,
training?
it's
Is
more
that
strength training. On Monday, it's strength
gotcha?
training, and on Friday, it's more TRX. It's sling.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
TRX. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Do you know
yeah,
it? Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's good for body work stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, mate, this is fascinating. I'm loving this. I want to move on to some of your opinions on things. And the first up, look, you're so young. You are for the world of triathlon. I just where do you think triathlon's at right now? What are your thoughts in terms of the events that we have in the world of triathlon? And you think it's in a good place?
Yeah, I think it's a good place, and it's developing, and on the short distance with the Super League, it's
Mm.
really interesting and exciting with all short distance and changes, and also on the middle distance with the PTOs races. There's a new format, and which is also very good coverage in the TV. So
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
can watch it from everywhere, and I think that's important that the spectators can watch it, and this is really good. And I think you also see that triathlon is getting bigger and bigger, and more people getting in. That the times are getting faster, and the fields closer together. That there's no ways anymore, which is not which are not good athletes. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think we are on a good way.
Mate, I think I couldn't agree more, and I think you said that very well. I think when you look across the whole spectrum of the sport, um, from the Super League and what they're trying to do, and they're trying to keep evolving and changing, all the way through to the PTO and what they're doing. Ironman, of course, is still there. The World Triathlon Series. There's really, challenge family of races. That there's really ample amount of great events around the world. There's potential for professional athletes who are doing well, are at the pointy end of the sport, can do a very good job in terms of income. I think there's a lot of brands that are being supportive. when you're looking at your gear now, you talked about, working with Alex and figuring out what brands you want to work with and particular gear that you might want to use. Is there any specific gear that, you swear by? I mean, you've talked about Coup bicycles, but is there any other equipment that you're using that you love?
Yeah, actually, I'm very confident with my bike Q, so I want to stay with them. And we are now the Saucony shoes in running, and this is not a popular triathlon shoe. So I
Very
was
cool.
also the first one who wins with them, I think. But
Nice.
in the future I have to see if I stay with them. I'm satisfied. I like the shoe, and in apparel I have the skin fit. I also like the suits, the clothes of them. But we have now to see what offer we get and what other brands which we can work together. But now it's too early to say I have this one or this one. I hope we will get it under the end of the year. But now it's a little bit too early.
You will. I'm sure they're all lining up. So that's going to be fascinating. I want to move over to the people of the world of triathlon. One of my favorite conversations, especially with someone so young like yourself. Who do you look at as being sort of the greatest of all time, the GOAT in the world of triathlon? If you can give me an idea of a man and a female, who have you got in mind?
In triathlon, is that
in triathlon.
in triathlon, for me, my goal is Jan Frodeno. So
Yes.
he's a German, and he won Olympian and the world title on 70.3 and world title on the long distance. So I think he won every big race, and also how he handled all the media stuff and sponsors. I think this is really special. This is I think the greatest of all time. And
are you going to go down to Nice and watch him in his last race this weekend?
Yeah, I will do it. Yeah,
you will.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. They're going to look after you. I hope Ironman will look after you down there. They want to. Hopefully, you're getting looked after anyway. If they're not, it's disappointing. But that's very cool.
Yeah. Hopefully, have a good race. Or he has a good race.
Do you know Jan personally? Have you guys met and hung out at all?
Not really. Just we was in a trains camp in Girona and there in the coffee from him. But
good.
But it was just a little chat. But I wouldn't say that it's personality. Yeah.
All right. Well, we need to make sure you guys get together and hang out a little bit.
Yeah.
And look, I think there's many people nodding their head when you say Jan Frodeno. His name gets brought up a lot in the greatest of all time conversation. Who's the GOAT? I always love to throw in names like Mark Allen, who's way before you were born, but his domination was insane. The late 80s, early 90s, he was a pioneer. But then you have people like Alistair Brownlee, two-time Olympic gold medalist, and his domination in the World Series. And then I always love to throw in Javier Gomez, who has won more races than all of those combined. The guy's just a racing machine, has won so much. It's incredible. But, mate, very good choice there. What about on the women? Who have you got in mind?
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult for me. But on the long distance, I would say Daniela Rief wins very many races. And in the past, there are also some girls which win 5 times the world championships, world champion title. So, but I don't know them because this was too early for me. And and on the short distance, I would say it's Flora Duffy because she's also very dominant and win the Olympic title 2021. So I would choose both.
No, I like that. Two great names, two exceptional names who I also would put in my top couple. So very good. Well done, mate. Now I want to pivot a little bit. And this is something that if you're ever at a dinner party and the conversation gets quiet, this is a fun one to throw in. And that's Who do you think are the greatest of all time athletes of all sports? Who stands out as the one person? We can pick a male and female if you can.
Yeah, I would take there Michael Phelps, and because he won so many Olympic titles, and he was just better than the others in swimming
Yeah,
in
yeah.
his highest years, and also his comeback. He was for 2 years no swimming, and then he comes back, and this was again very good, and how he trains, how dedicated is to train every day, just go
Mhm.
for training, and yeah, this one is really
Love
impressive,
it.
and yeah.
I love that one. He's definitely right up there in my books as well. What about a woman? You got a woman in mind?
No, they're not really.
Not really. We'll pick. How about we pick Serena Williams? There you go.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Let's finish up with final four. Now, this is a hilarious one because you're 22 years old. And so my first one I always love to ask my guests is, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? Being that that's only a couple of years ago for you, it doesn't seem that relevant. So let's wind that clock back a bit. What would you tell your 12-year-old self 10 years ago?
At 12 years, okay. Yeah, there was much having fun, have fun to train, and yeah, taking it not too serious, yeah. And
I love it. I
yeah,
love it. All right. 3 people you'd want to have dinner with, not non-family, living or dead.
yeah. First, I would choose Barack Obama because yeah, he ruled the most powerful country for so many years, and yeah, I think he did a great job, and yeah, just to chat with him it would be cool,
Mhm. Mhm.
and yeah, ask him some things about the to rule such a big city, not the country. Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
love
it's
it.
yeah,
He's probably one of the most requested for dinner parties I've had on this
yeah,
show, by the way. I love it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, second would be Jan Frodeno because I never met him for a chat. So yeah, this would be also very cool to chat with him about
That's cool.
triathlon and yeah, how to manage all these things. Yeah,
That's awesome. Well, I think we can line that one up for you for sure.
yeah, this would be cool. Yeah,
Mhm.
and yeah, third one I would pick Albert Einstein because yeah, I like physics in school. It was my favorite subject.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. That was
Maybe
a left turn. That's awesome. I love that.
yeah.
That's very cool, mate. That's a really great dinner party, and I think Jan should find himself lucky to be invited.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very cool. All right, mate. Big one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, hopefully still enjoying triathlon and yeah,
Mhm.
be on the top of the world.
Good man.
And maybe with the long distance world title, yeah, this would be cool.
Yeah, on that, when are you thinking of, I don't want to rush you on this. Again, I think some athletes rush into Ironman a little quick. Do you have that on your roadmap in terms of, I know you can do an Ironman, but when would you want to really commit to Ironman? Have you got an idea?
Yeah, I'm sure that I wanted to do it, but not sure when. So next year for sure not, and I would say in 3 years, maybe
Mhm.
2025 or six, I would try to do a long distance. Yeah,
Good man. Well, I'd be encouraging you not to rush.
yeah,
I think you're showing your real powerhouse at this middle distance. And it doesn't mean I wouldn't, if I was coaching you or advising you, I'd be saying definitely have it on. It's not going anywhere is my point. And you've still got plenty of learning and growing, and you can still keep really crushing the PTO distance in the 70.3s. I think it's a perfect distance for you.
yeah.
Um,
I think also you can do more races on the middle distance and PDO races. So
yes.
I like to race and yeah, the high end speed, the speed is nice and for long distance you have to train a little bit more volume. So yeah,
Mm,
I have
mm.
time for that. Yeah,
No, I agree. But look, I love the fact that you're doing some short races and everything else. I think that's really great. All right, last one. This is a new question I'm adding, and I was just thinking about it the other day. If you're told that you have 6 months to live, how do you decide to live those final, 182 days?
Okay. Yeah,
It's a big one.
I think I would take my family and go in the mountains and just enjoying the nature, because I love the mountains. It's most time silence and be just free and just enjoying it. There in the mountains.
I love it, buddy. Just escape from all the stresses and just chill with family.
Yeah.
I think you got your priorities right, mate. You sound like you're a 75-year-old, not a 22-year-old. That's fantastic. All right, let's finish up with some rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yes, let's go.
All right, you just hydrated. We're good to go. All right. What's one food you could eat every single day?
Peanut butter.
Wow. Okay. Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Oh, more early bird, I would say. Yeah.
Best decade of music?
2000s.
2000s. One book you would gift to a friend?
Oh, I don't read so many books, and yeah.
That's okay. I wouldn't have known one either. I only started really reading a couple of years ago, but any come to mind?
I have no, yeah.
That's okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
And you've already answered this one, but I'll throw it at you anyway. Mountains or beach?
Yeah, mountains.
Yeah. Greatest movie of all time?
Transformers. I like the Transformers film.
Oh, that's awesome. Good on you, buddy. I love that. All right. If you could choose to be the best in any other sport, what sport would you choose?
I like table tennis.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is awesome. You are full of surprises, buddy. I love that. I was thinking you're going to say football or Formula One or something like that, but table tennis, I love it.
Yeah, and hobby, I really like to play table tennis, and against other people, they just do it as a hobby. I'm good, but if you see the pros, it's just amazing to.
Oh, really? So, note to self: if I come across you, if we're hanging out, and you say, "Hey, Greg, you want to wager on a table tennis game?"
Yeah,
I got to be careful because you're pretty good at it by the sound of it. All right, first job.
Yeah, I'm just studying, so I have.
Triathlon.
Yeah.
Triathlon is your first job. That's all right. Perfect. Final one. What word would you use to describe your mindset when competing?
Yeah, going all in. Yeah.
All in.
Yeah.
Love it. Intentional. There's so many great words there. Mate, this has been fantastic. I really appreciate you coming on. I especially love just hearing your emotions when you talk about winning the world championships and how wonderful that was for you. But mate, and sharing your journey to date, I'm so excited about your future. I'm hoping this is our first of many conversations over the next few years. But mate, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks that I could be part of your show, and I really liked the chat with you. Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate you, Rico. And for everybody listening, you can find the show notes and timestamps and everything else at bennettendurance.com/media. All right, Rico, stay on the line, buddy. Cheers.